What is up mga boss? This is BossTL again. So andito na tayo sa Yamaha. Alright, we are taking home the MT15. Ayan. So shoutout na lang kay sir. Sir, ano pangalan ulit? So blinking zero. What is up mga boss? This is BossTL again. Today we are going sa warehouse ng Yamaha dito sa Brixton, Pasig, dahil may kukunin tayong motor. So I guess it was last September nung nag-offer si Yamaha for everyone to test out their motorcycles, the scooters and the 150cc motorcycles that they have in their lineup. We signed up to borrow the MT15 and the R15 that they have. When we signed up, we were hoping it would be loaned to us for about 2 days para makapag-bike review tayo and not just test rides, right? So I think this would be the first time that Yamaha would be loaning the bike for just about everyone. You just need to sign up. Early November, we got a call from them that, you know, we are being scheduled to take out either the MT15 or the R15. I just have to choose one. So today we are going to Yamaha, their warehouse in Brixton, Pasig, to take out the MT15. We are actually hoping na tipong mapagbigyan pa tayo sa R15 na hinihiram natin, but you know, we have the MT15 already. We are only given 2 days. Yeah, 2 days. 2 days only to use the bike and do a review out of it. So yun lang muna. I'll talk to you again in a bit. Right? Hello, good morning mga boss. So andito na tayo sa Yamaha, sa warehouse ng Yamaha, and we are taking home the MT15. Ayan, naihanda na. So it will be just a short documentation, then we're off to go. Medyo traffic on the way kasi hindi na natin kinunan. Then again, once we get this bike, ikot-ikot muna tayo to get a feel of the bike before we do the actual bike review. Alright? So may iba-ibang paint scheme to, no? Color scheme. Nakuha natin is the dark blue with the neon yellow, though we would have preferred the silver finish with the orange mags. Just the same, we're testing the bike as it is. Yung performance, it's quite good. It looks like a small big bike. At first glance you would mistake this as a big bike. Talking of being, you know, deceptive as a big bike, the Duke 200 seems to be more like a big bike, kaya probably marami bumibili ng Duke 200. More paperwork, then we're good. So a few more. Uy, thanks.
Large kayo?
Large. Okay. So we will be returning this bike on Wednesday morning, same time here. Till then, the bike is ours. Then let's ride it around town. We'll probably go to Tagaytay if time permits. Medyo madumi siya, so the first agenda for this bike is to have a bike wash. And then again, let's see, may pa-t-shirt pa si Yamaha. Thank you Yamaha. Again, thank you Yamaha for sponsoring the test ride, for lending us this loaner bike for 2 days, and for the t-shirt that we have here. Alright, so we're going. So medyo may kataasan siya. Interestingly, mas mataas siya kaysa kay Duke. Okay. First ride impression agad eh, no? This is the first time I would be riding a sports naked bike from a 150cc category. I've been used to the 200cc of the Duke 200. Well, I couldn't say na tipong same siya ng Duke 200 eh. I would probably say na tipong the Duke 200 is torquier than this one. Well, it is a 200cc, right? Yeah, there's a bit of lag There's a bit of lag, but you know, it is expected. It is just 150cc, right? Oh, pagas muna tayo. Parang bagong bili to eh. Parang bagong bili, ubos agad eh. Almost none. Right, so blinking 0. So pa-car wash muna natin to, then let's see. Alright, so this is the MT15. Hi buddy, so that's the greeting you would be getting from this screen when you turn on the ignition. Alright, the seat is on the high side. Yeah, it's as if you're perched on a high seat. This bike doesn't have any side stand switch, so you would actually, you know, be able to start the engine even if the side stand is down. Nasanay tayo doon sa may side stand switch with the NMAX, with the Duke. Ito hindi eh. Alright, so let's go with the first impressions. Riding the bike on the first time, you would feel as if you are sitting on the motocross. Medyo mataas ang seating position niya. Although I could reach the ground, I'm a bit tiptoed. Anyway, so somehow this would be disadvantageous sa medyo short people. So even though it has a high seat height, due to the weight of the bike, kaya naman siyang i-maneuver through traffic. Di man siya ganun kahirapan, although the higher seat height makes it a bit more challenging maneuvering, pero nothing that cannot be managed, right? So when I first got the bike, this bike is quite new. I got the bike at around 500 kilometers into the auto reading, so medyo bago-bago pa siya. So this bike is still in a break-in stage. So the riding comfort of this bike is on the stiff side. Medyo may katigasan ng kanyang suspension. You could actually feel the bumps of the roads. Yeah, you could feel the bumps of the roads, but it does give you a stable it does give you a stable handling due to that. Huwag ka lang dadaan sa medyo rough road kasi ramdam mo yung bumps. Now, the power of this bike, if you have driven a Sniper before, very similar yung kanyang acceleration. The performance seems to be the same. The only thing that changed is the actual frame of the bike, so the riding posture or the riding feel may be different. Yun, so at least you'll have an idea how it goes. So in terms of acceleration, you wouldn't really be getting much from the first gear of this bike. Halos wala eh. So parang it has a very short gear ratio, so it will only be useful pag there is a high torque demand, like going up inclines. Pero in terms of acceleration, it doesn't give you much. You have to shift up immediately to get more acceleration, to get more speed out of it. So medyo mabagal yung kanyang take off from start. The power range of this bike is on the higher RPM, so you definitely have to rev up this bike to get the intended performance out of the engine. On lower RPMs, medyo wala masyado makukuha eh. I feel the bike is lacking torque on the lower RPM range. So in other words, medyo mahihirapan ka mag-overtake using this bike. Kakailanganin mo ng buwelo. Ayan o. Yun, so kakailanganin mo ng buwelo, or you have to really rev the engine high to get that enough torque to overtake, you know, moving vehicles as well. So that's one downside I saw with this bike. The upside to that, this bike is rev happy. So talagang mas gusto niya nire-rev siya just to get the good acceleration and good speed. So the tendency is, for this bike, you would really have to twist the throttle quite often. So ayun nga, with this bike, you would probably have to always twist the throttle to max out the throttle every time. When it comes to cornering, the cornering for this bike is quite smooth. Probably due to suspension. I don't know about the tires, but you know, it does follow the inputs that you are giving. So initially, when we got the bike straight out of the warehouse, we had some concerns as to the handling of the bike. It's a bit fidgety in a way. Medyo malikot siya sa kalsada. Turns out, you know, when we got the bike, walang gas, walang hangin yung mga gulong. So that would probably explain kung bakit medyo malikot siya sa kalsada. Now that the tires are properly inflated with the correct tire pressure, you could probably say na tipong stable naman talaga siya. It does follow the inputs given by the rider. So okay siya. You would feel a bit confident turning into corners. It can lean quite well. Now riding this bike for several hours, wala kang nararamdamang init coming off from the engine. This bike is liquid cooled with radiator. Pero unlike the Duke 200, naramdam mo yung init when the fan starts to kick in. This one, wala eh. Parang as if you're riding an underbone na wala ka talaga maramdamang init straight out of the radiator. Now traversing through traffic, since you are perched high on the bike, so kitang kita mo yung vehicles in front of you. You wouldn't really have any problems with the side mirrors as well, kasi hindi naman siya nakaprotrude palabas. Okay, this bike loves open roads, since as I mentioned, this bike prefers to be rev high. So in city traffic, medyo lugi siya because, you know, it lacks the acceleration. But when it comes to open roads wherein you could rev the engine high freely, you'll get more of the desired performance out of this bike. And with the easy handling of this bike being lightweight and all, madali siyang isingit through slower cars. Since this bike loves to be constantly revved high, when I get this bike as my own, I would probably upgrade to a quick throttle. Kasi medyo nakakapagod lang na tipong lagi mo tinotodo yung throttle. Parang ganun, no? You have to put in quite an effort to twist the throttle. So with a quick throttle, onting inputs lang, malaki na yung equivalent nun. So that's probably an upgrade I would be thinking when getting this bike. Now for the riding stance on this bike, it is on the aggressive side. Even though this is a naked bike, you're actually assuming an aggressive riding stance for this bike. Although the upper portion of the body is a bit upright, with the handlebar being farther away, you actually tend to lean forward, and with the foot peg placed a bit on the rear, medyo naka-atras siya, so your legs are bent, assuming a more aggressive stance. So riding this bike, definitely you'll get this sporty feel. Somehow you would feel na tipong mas aggressive yung riding stance nito as compared sa Ninja 400. Sa Ninja 400 medyo relax ka pa nga eh. Dito kasi the foot pegs being moved to the rear, para ka naka rear set lagi. As I mentioned last time, this bike you could easily weave through traffic. The only observation I have with this bike is that since the handlebar is situated a bit low, yung handlebar niya medyo tumatama sa fuel tank. It's not really an issue. Ang problema lang kasi sa akin is when I do a tight turn, naiipit yung kamay ko. Siguro makakasanayan mo na rin. It will probably be automatic na sa'yo na tipong you'll have to position your hands a bit different para hindi maipit. Okay, so is this bike okay for everyday use? Yes, of course it is. It is a thrifty bike. Maganda yung fuel consumption niya. But personally, well, personal preference, if I would be getting this for an everyday bike, I'll have second thoughts. Firstly, the riding position, as I mentioned last time, it is on the sporty side. Although nakakasanayan naman, but you'll get easily more tired riding this bike on city traffic. Now, other than that, the suspension is stiff. Medyo masakit sa puwet pag medyo tumagal-tagal. One would wish na tipong medyo softer ng onti. Yung at least yung cushion man lang medyo mas malambot-lambot to absorb the bumps. Kasi ramdam mo yung mga bumps dito eh. As for the performance is good. Pero I did mention na tipong I would prefer to use this bike on open roads. Kasi the bike's engine prefers to be revved at higher RPM. There's not much usable torque on lower RPM, so the tendency is mas delikado kasi medyo mas gigil ka revving the engine high to get that torque to overtake. The looks of the bike, wala akong masabi. It looks fantastic, it looks aggressive, and it do look sa part aggressive din talaga siya. But then isusoli na natin yung bike. Here we are. Alright, we're here. Okay, time to return the bike.
Yeah.